Hey guys, welcome to our podcast. This is MJ Double A Podcast, and my name is Mina.
My name is Jerry Berry.
My name is Maria.
My name is Aaliyah.
And will be us talking about the book
1984 by George Orwell.
So have you guys heard about the new things being said about the government and Trump?
I've heard some things. Actually, we found this book in a very scary abandoned
We're going to talk about a lot about the government, and we can actually relate it to today's government. And we will be right back after we have more information for you guys.
And we're back. And as you can see, we have now skimmed the book because we are enrolled.
As we have skimmed through the book, we realize that the book is about a guy named Winston who lives in a world where the government watches and controls everything people do and think. He tries to fight back and think for himself, but things don't end well.
So topic number 1, a symbol from the text is the diary. Its association is with Winston Smith. The importance of the symbol is that it showcases individualism and rebellion.
Topic number 2. Julia starts off as a mysterious character in the beginning of the story, but throughout the book, she began to become more included and then became one of the main characters, of course. Julia connects with this theme of rebellion because she committed acts of rebellion like living with privacy, which is not good in this book apparently. I don't know why. Having with another person and eating real food.
Or just also in this society, they can't even love each other either.
Topic number 3, the two themes in this book that we found was that totalitarian and government control and the reality control and manipulation of the truth.
Okay, so the interaction of these two themes is that the party have government control and totalitarian as well. They use this to their advantage in order to have reality control over the people, and they manipulate the truth of the people as well.
And now we're going to talk about the ministry. But before, that's enough of these ridiculous guys.
While skimming the book, we also found that it talked about 4 ministries. She can tell you a little bit about them.
So the 4 ministries are Ministry of Food, Ministry of Plenty, Ministry of Peace, and Ministry of Love.
For the Ministry of Truth, we found that it is about media and propaganda, as well as revisionist history. For the Ministry of Peace, we also found that it's about war and foreign relations. Ministry of Love is law enforcement, surveillance, and punishment. And the last one, Ministry of Plenty, is economy, scarcity, and consumer control.
Yeah, so these ministries have a lot to do with this book. And also we can also apply these ministries in the real world, in real life. And the Ministry of Truth, so how we can relate it today is that we see it in our government because our president is literally already trying to rewrite the Constitution, just like how it's in the book. So basically what the president is doing, he's passing laws and regulations that allows us, that technically prevents us from talking bad about him. And right here we will enter a video of Trump. The next ministry we'll be talking about is the Ministry of Peace. So now in modern times, we see the Ministry of Peace basically being that they're trying to take out transgender children out of the military. They don't want transgender children being in the military, and that's all our president is trying to do. He's trying to do everything.
But we also relate it to the book because in the book, Winston talks about how basically they're always being told that they're constantly at war, but in reality they aren't. However, they just do it so that they can feel fear and anger towards their enemy.
Yes, they do.
Kind of like the war going on in Ukraine and Russia right now, where they'll keep on like saying that the US doesn't want to do anything about it, which is kind of like Oceana in the book.
But you can also kind of see that with Israel. A lot of people in the United States don't support Israel.
We also see that this related to the book because you know how, well, in the book while we were reading it, we found that in the book Winston is talking about how he works in the Ministry of Truth, right? And while working in the Ministry of Truth, they rewrite history. Everything is being rewritten. And it also talks about propaganda posters that they put up with pictures of Big Brother, and that also like symbolizes how they are being like manipulated.
But also any evidence that they find, they destroy it. Like they don't want no one to know about it. They're just straight up lying to them.
As you can hear from the background, there's a monster in the background. And we're close to like the area 51, and they just try to prevent us from becoming close to it. And I don't know why. I don't know why they don't want us to like find out. Because there's many clips that we see that it shows that presidents or something like that have like lizard eyes or something like going on in the neck.
And we will also even stars, even like that's what I've seen those videos.
Yeah. Right now we can show you a few clips.
I think the people that do support Israel are more like Christians and all that stuff, but the rest of the world, like the rest of the United States, doesn't really want to support them. The next ministry we can see in our world is the Ministry of Plenty. In this ministry, we see our president. It really revolves around him. Our president, he's literally throwing paper roll towels, literally Puerto Ricans. I think was it Puerto Ricans?
Yes.
Yes, to Puerto Ricans. He's literally throwing them, saying, "Oh, this is what you need. This is what you need." When it's like, hello, no. Another thing we really see in our world today is that they technically already have a cure for cancer, but they're not giving it to them because it makes money for them. All they want is literally fame, and that's literally the reason why they're not giving us the cure for cancer, because we're making money for them. Another thing is medication or surgeries. They say we need surgery, they say we need these medications, but in reality we don't. Literally surgery after surgery, it causes literally a new problem every single time.
And in that book we're reading, actually, we also found that it talks about how they're being told that the rations are increased, but in reality they're not being given enough. They're even struggling to find razor blades.
That is true. The last and final ministry we talked about is the Ministry of Love, and this deals with modern world. Ministry of Love would be like police brutality.
Oh yeah, an example of that can be George Floyd. Do you guys remember seeing that?
Yes,
Yeah.
that video was very sad.
Also, the Salvadorians being captured by the police and being took to a very high security jail. They're treated like animals, which was no fun at all for them because they're not actually animals, they're human beings just like us.
You could also say that ICE is kind of a way of the Ministry of Love because the ICE, it doesn't matter whether we're Mexican or Japanese, it doesn't matter. Like, you're an immigrant and they're literally torturing some immigrants too because it's from where they're from.
And in the book, we can actually see torture. We got room 101.
Yes.
Especially, did you guys see them being tortured with the rats?
That,
Yeah, I did see that video. Yeah.
that scene was, yeah.
So
But
disturbing.
in Ministry of Love too, in the book, they also talk a lot about surveillance. And basically their surveillance is literally the TV always watching them. In modern time, Ministry of Love, it would technically be our phones, our Wi-Fi listening to us. Wi-Fi, you could, if they connect to the Wi-Fi, they can see how many people are in the room. But for the phones, they could literally listen through the phones. Because of that, I remember that act from, I don't remember what it, I think it was during the wartime too, where it was, what was the act called? Yeah, it was called the Espionage Act, and that act is still applied today now. It's a little more modern, obviously. We have phones, we listen to the phones. But personally too, like sometimes I'm just laying in my bed, I look over at my phone, and I see a red light coming from my phone. That's, and they say that's apparently the government taking pictures. I'm like,
Does it ever happen to you also that you're talking about something and you get ads?
yes. As a matter of fact, when we were reading this book, literally on my computer, I seen an ad from 1984. I'm not joking. It also happened to these people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very scary.
relatable.
Yes, it was.
Well, I think that completes, right?
Yes, it does. So now we're gonna drink some victory gin, or technically beer because of the paroles. These guys could explain what they are.
Victory gin. We just read about that in the book, no?
Yes.
Yes. I thought people were just drinking this because they were trying to like gaslight them by just forgetting everything and like I don't know. Do you want anything else from the book?
No, not really. All I know is that this thing tastes hella good.
Let's go ahead and
Ready?
try.
Cheers!
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.